All right. Hi, everyone. I'm John
I'm Joni.
for the Human Potential. Um, Today is January 1st, 2025.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's a new year. And I'm going to talk, talk about something that has been on my mind for a while. There's a couple of things here. And I'm watching this Sean Ray episode of this person talking about Christ and God and the Bible and all that stuff. Okay. So I'm going to get back to that. But I want to talk about dispelling some disbeliefs or beliefs out there, dispelling some belief systems out there that are just simply not true. And I'm so sick of it. And I'm going to tell you something. Um, it pisses me off. And people in the New Age world, biblical world, your time is coming. Okay, your BS and bullshit is going to end. And why am I pissed off and why am I get frustrated? Well, because I'm so sick of people talking about things that just simply aren't true. Now, you don't have to believe me. Do your own research, do your own understanding, follow your own heart. Even Buddha says, the Dalai Lama, follows Buddha, and he said, Buddha himself said, don't believe me. Do your own research, follow your own heart, and if it's true, then follow it with all your might. Okay, but so a lot of these new age, because it's good sound bites, and it's like a Starbucks cup of coffee, right? It's just a cup of coffee, but they market it and package it so well that gotta have my Starbucks, right? But it's just a freaking cup of coffee.
That's right.
All right, and I'm not saying it's not good, it's bad, or what. It's good. I like my Starbucks. Not a problem. But you're paying a lot of money for a cup of coffee. That's what it is, and they're brilliant marketers. And that's what a lot of these new age guys, these vortexes is bullshit in Sedona. People talk about that. It's some cliche, they charge people. There's vortexes all over the freaking world. Your house has a vortex. Everyone has a vortex. Okay, it's basically an energy portal. It's an energy center. Okay, so that's just reality. If you were to go out of body and see yourself, you would probably see a light, or some people say a silver cord. I didn't see any of that stuff, but I did see a light. There's an energy that's feeding whatever it is that's physical. Okay, it's subtle. It's sending particles that create the physical world that you see it. And you could probably locate the vortex in your house or the energy center that is creating that house. You just feel it. You go, I don't know, it's that corner. What is that corner? That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
All right? Mm-hmm. And that's everything you do. Right. So you don't have to travel, 9,000 miles or Sedona, Arizona to see vortexes, okay? It's bullshit, cliche-ish that...
It's kind of, it's a tourist trap, basically.
It's crap.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't go. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't go to Sedona. Enjoy it. Have fun. But realize what's going on here. It's just a lot of these new agers who piss me off too, go into this woo-woo area, and it's just all crapola. Another thing that is crapola that annoys me, I don't know, I'm pissed off today because I listen to this freaking jack off. Okay, anybody, and I mean anybody, who talks of God, who says God, and then uses the word him is full of shit. God is not a him nor a her, it is a it. It is all things. And if anything, it's feminine. It's female. And that's what you see. The world is going towards more the feminine energy, okay? And the church talks about, angels in the Bible, they say, are mostly men. Why? Because the church destroyed women's role throughout history because they're scared shitless of females. Okay? Women have the true power. That's just a reality of fact. Look at nature. All throughout nature, the lioness is way stronger. Okay, they have the babies. And if we think about God is giving birth, well, who gives birth? Women. Carrie. That doesn't mean you don't need the man. The man is essential in the birthing process. But the man, sorry to say, is secondary. So, eons ago, eons and eons and eons, God was bored, basically, wanting to experience itself. Now, I want you to think of something as I discuss this, okay? Because it's something to understand. And I really need you to ask yourself this one question and really understand what I'm saying here. Can you just be? Can you just sit and exist in the glory of all things? Can you do that? Ask yourself. Now, probably the answer is no, right? So think about that. If you have everything you need, everything you desire, and I know it sounds, oh, this is great. Can you really exist in that reality and just be? And also, if we are all part of the same source, part of God, God is all that is, whatever terminology you wish to see it, call it, then in truth, you have no identity. There is no John. There is no Joni. There is no Betty, Fred, Johnny, whatever. There is none of that. There's just it, the source of all things. That is it. Can you exist? If you were to have that, can you exist in that? Well, there was a long time ago, eons and eons ago, well, that was not the case. They wanted to explore themselves. And God said, well, I mean, it's not that great. This is pretty good here. But if you want to, and I'm simplifying it, of course, you can. So go out and explore. All right. It's basically the ego self. Okay. And the ego self wanted to explore. And then the ego self thought it was God. It thought it was because it was creating planets and worlds. And it thought it was God. Okay. And it became unaware of where its origination was until one day it woke up and saw, uh-oh, I'm not it. I'm not even close to it.
Oh, boy.
This is it. Oh, crap. I thought I was all that in a bag of shit.
How do I come back?
But I'm not. So how do I come back? Okay. And I know I'm all over the map. Just follow me. How do I come back? And God goes, well, unfortunately, this is perfection. You cannot come back. Not yet. What do you mean? Well, everything you created is now part of an imperfect world. Imperfection exists, and imperfection cannot exist where perfection exists. It just simply cannot. It doesn't coexist. Because if you look at this, all these electrical currents vibrating at a frequency that is perfection to its own self, all intertwining as one. If you were to throw a pebble through that, like a lake is perfectly calm existing, and then you throw a pebble in it and then ripples throughout the lake, right? Well, that's what would happen. That is why it's not allowed. And that is why the true experience of the God self is basically surrounded by what we would call angels, guardians, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call it. No one's allowed to enter that etherically. You cannot. And trust me, you would be knocked back that fast. I mean, it's like not even, you don't want to deal with these guys. These guys are powerful. It's the ultimate truth. And the ultimate truth is what most people can't even understand. And that's what a lot of these New Agers are going to start to realize. So God self said, well, I can't, the ego self said, I need to fix it. And that's what we've been trying to correct ever since. It's been a evolution of spiritual insight to help us understand who and what we are in order to become that perfect self. Now, what you realize is when you enter that perfect self, let's just say, what you do is then realize that you are part of this genome or the human genome that created all of this, and therefore you have to help those who have not yet seen themselves for who they are, see themselves for what they truly are into that perfected self in order to evolve into the next level of awareness. Now, that is a huge monumental task. It just is. And then when you got people and that's really what you're here to do, okay? Learning the aspect of love. So these people that say, oh, you came here to learn a lesson, you didn't come here to learn shit, okay? There's nothing to learn. Zero to learn, okay? I'm here to discuss. I came here to learn, meaning that I was stupid before, meaning I didn't know anything, meaning, oh, I'm somehow not as good. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't like the terminology of learning, because it puts this thing like, oh, this original sin.
You're less than.
You're less than. This original sin is full of shit.
Right.
Okay, it doesn't exist. Never has existed. Never will exist. That's just the notion of that is stupid. It's
Absurd.
just think about it. Okay, so this I'm learning. No. You're not learning anything. You never had to learn anything. You didn't come down here for lessons. You didn't come. None of that shit. Okay, that's all crap. People are telling you that are crap. People who talk to you about God, Goddess, all that is, and they say Him, they're full of shit right away. 100% stop listening. They don't know what they're talking about. Okay, God is not a Him. Like I said, if anything, God is female, feminine. It's a feminine, loving energy. But God is both male and female in all things. There is no attachment to a title with God. It doesn't exist. And if you try to attach a title to God, you're full of shit. Okay? And you don't know what you're talking about. And quite frankly, I wish you would shut the hell up and stop fretting that crap to people who believe you. Okay? Stop listening to those jackasses and those dumbasses that use Him for God. Okay? That doesn't exist. The female role was very prominent. Sorry, my allergies. There were female disciples, I hate to tell you this, stricken from history, from religion. Why? Because men know the power of the feminine energy. It's way more than the male. And it scares the shit out of most men. Trust me, get a woman pissed off, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? Way stronger, way powerful. That energy. That's not to blow up women. That's not to say, oh, our species is. No, I'm not doing that at all, because there's a lot of men who are feminine energies. Okay? A lot of men. So, which brings up the other point, is you're neither male nor female as well.
Right.
You have both aspects to yourself. Okay? That doesn't mean that there isn't a male role and there isn't a female role, because there are. The two coexist. But once you understand that there really is no separation between the male and the female, then you start respecting and loving each other with greater intention and awareness. Okay? Makes sense?
Absolutely, yes.
Because you realize one's not better than the other. They just are. And they both coexist, and they both are necessary. Mm-hmm. Right?
No thing, no one is better.
Right.
I know.
Swig of coffee for the spiritual person. So it doesn't exist. So when people talk about God as Him, turn them off immediately. They're stupid. They're unaware. Okay, shouldn't call them stupid. I should call them unaware.
Yeah,
but they piss me off. They piss me off because I'm so sick of these people feeding this crap to the world out there, and it's simply not true. It is not true. Okay. Also, let's get back to this lesson. And I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. You're not here to learn anything, okay? Strike that from your record book, okay? You're not learning lessons. What you are doing, it's a matter of terminology, I understand, but what you are doing, learning suggests that you didn't know and that somehow you're less than. That's how I take it. Maybe some people don't take it that way. That's how I take it. I don't like it, so stop using it. Throw it out of your vocabulary. What you are doing is becoming aware of who and what you already are. Okay? Period. You are born into this life perfected. Okay? Your self already knows itself. You just need to start listening to it. Okay? And the more you become aware of that which is already there, that's when you start to transform who you are as a person. Now, who you are as a person is what's the utmost important thing here. Okay? Obtaining wealth, obtaining things, physical. Okay, that's all fine and good. Don't mean shit. Don't mean nothing. Okay? It literally means zero. That doesn't mean that you can't have it. That doesn't mean that you don't deserve it. That doesn't mean that it isn't there for everybody, because it is. Abundance is there for everybody. It is. It doesn't mean anything though. So if you base your entire identity on your wealth and your items that you own, well then you're missing the boat. Okay? You can have those things, all of that and more. No problem. Just don't identify as that, because who you identify as is a spiritual human being, having a spiritual being having a human experience.
Right.
That's who you are. And that's what you're here to do. You're here to become aware of what you already are and then help others see that awareness within themselves. Period. That is it. It's basically learning to love. And when you do find that, you're going to want to talk to people and tell others. And it's the same thing with somebody who came in this life who, for whatever, let's say, I'm just saying that they have the cure for cancer. Okay? First of all, there is no cure because cancer doesn't really exist. It's a fundamental reality of our physical world that we have implemented into our physical psyche in order to create some type of awareness or an illusion that death actually occurs when death does not occur. That doesn't mean that you need to experience cancer. That doesn't mean that you have to have cancer. That doesn't mean that if you get cancer, it isn't curable or you can dissolve it. So I think there's people that have come into this world with a level of awareness that is already understandably higher than, let's see, or more acute than some others. And their path is to have others become aware of what cancer actually is, what cancer actually does. And I've had people who in my life who have died of cancer. And it's a disgusting disease. But if you really do research out there, and that doesn't mean that you won't get cancer and it won't be cured, because maybe that was what you wanted to experience, to become aware of. But that doesn't necessarily mean you had to go through that. It just means you chose to go through that. Potentially, maybe not. But so my point to that is somebody came into this world and they said, hey, wait a second, this is not right. They understand what cancer is. There's a guy down in Mexico right now because he can't be in the United States because they won't let him practice, but he's been curing cancer. Brzezinski Institute in Texas, another guy. Leonard Carwell, who's cured cancer, had his car blown up, everything else. Why? It's a billion-dollar industry, the medical field.
Absolutely.
So my point is, some of these people, now I'm not a doctor, so do your own research. A lot of these people come in here and they're there to disclaim. They already have a certain acute awareness that some others may not have, but that's their vocational, if you will, right? But this whole aspect of, I think it's just terminology. I need to learn. I'm here to learn. No, you're not. You're here to become aware of what you already are and then spread that awareness for others. And God is not a him nor a her. It is a all is. That is it. It is an it, if you want to say it. It's all and everything. Okay?
Pronouns are just a label.
They're just a label.
We don't need that label.
They're just a label.
Yeah.
That's all they are.
For sure.
So there's my rant. What do you think?
Yeah. You were quite passionate today about your
Okay, I don't care about that. What do you think about what I said?
Yeah, I agree. I agree on your thoughts on God. And as far as the learning goes, it could be a matter of semantics, becoming more aware and learning. Is it the same thing? I don't know. But if it's offensive to you to speak of learning, then by all means.
So if I were to say to you, you need to learn this, does you automatically get a in your, like, what do you mean? Fuck you.
Yeah. It depends on what you're talking about.
But you're like, fuck you, I didn't learn it.
Right.
But you kind of auto get your back up.
Right, I see what you're saying. Your defense mechanism kind of kicks in.
Right.
And that isn't, there's really not a place for that in this
That's what I'm trying to avoid.
I understand.
I don't want you to get your defense mechanism up and that gets the ego involved.
Right.
And when the ego's involved, then we don't learn anything.
Yeah, everything is out the window when that happens.
Right.
Right, I understand.
So, I mean, that's what we've been trying to correct. The ego's been trying to correct itself for quite some time.
Right.
And we have people on this planet, mostly men, mostly masculine energy, who think they're better than God. They do. They think they're better than God. That's the only way I can say it. They think they can thwart what is that already is, and that they could forego death. They're brutal here. They're brutal here, and it's all ego. It's all ego driven, and it's just they're going to learn soon enough. Well, they are learning. We've already been put on notice. We're changing. I got news for you. We're changing. And the change has nothing to do really with you and I. It has nothing to do with you and I. It really has everything to do with Earth. The Earth itself is evolving, and we need to evolve with it. In the past, we may not have evolved with it, and, well, we've had some major catastrophes happen. And guess what has resulted from that? Zero. Absolutely nothing. Humans still have not learned anything. They have not learned who they are. They have not realized, I should say, or have not become aware of who they are. Some have, a lot have, but a lot have not. So inherently, it just doesn't work.
What will it take?
It's going to take an acute awareness within. And that's not always possible from the general reality of what is. We have to sort of force them into it or trick them into a different way of thinking and understanding by changing what is, that is, what you see around you. So by doing so, then we will create a greater understanding of who and what we all are through that. And that's what our extraterrestrial friends have been trying to tell us for years and years and years. But their non-interference is what prohibits them from just simply landing in the White House lawn, so to speak. They're not there to interfere with our understanding. We have to come to the understanding ourselves. Now, we as spiritual beings understand that most people cannot or have not come to this level of awareness on their own. So what we do is we start to change things all around them. Now, I know it seems somewhat frustrating and it seems like your whole world is changing, but it's not actually changing. It's becoming more aware and better than what you have originally thought. And so things go away. And pretty much that's what COVID was. It was a testament to see, okay, what if we take everything away? How are people going to react? And now we know, and now we can take a different direction and a different action. Because again, this really has nothing to do with you or I or anything else. It really has everything to do with the momentum reality of what is occurring within the earth and on the earth itself. It is physically changing. And we do not want to see the destruction of the living creatures on this earth plane again, because frankly, it just doesn't do any good. We just go back to the same thing we did and we start the cycle all over again, which is not what we want to be in. We want to get us out of that cycle and into a greater level of awareness. And people talk about, oh, fifth level dimension and all that shit. Okay, that's, again, bullshit. There is no dimensions. It's all one. All dimensions are one. It's a fundamental reality of conscious thought that we create certain realities outside of our own, which one could call dimensions, in order to have that experiential reality or experiential thought exist. It's simply that. My computer shut off. Let me restart it. There we go. Not that you can still see us, but so it's the now I've lost my train of thought. Damn it.
Dimensions.
So when you have a thought, every thought is real, okay, until they become non-existable conscious thoughts. In other words, you no longer need that because you've become aware of that and realize that, like when someone says, I wish I was dead, you actually did die in some form or some reality. That thought just gets grabbed and put over here in storage, existing. One could call that a dimension, but it's basically a layer of reality. And that thought is just there. And in that conscious thought that you had, because thoughts are real, that actually existed. Wow, this we're gonna have to turn this.
Yeah, it's
Let's
very
go this way.
bright sun. There we go.
How about if we do that? See the Jim Kelly shirt. So that's really what occurs. That thought then becomes reality but it's not what you truly meant. And the angels and guides, and they know that, so they take that thought and they store it over here until you say, oh, that was dumb. I don't need to do that. And then it dissolves. It doesn't need to exist anymore. Okay? But that's what they talk about dimension. So again, it's semantics, different terminology. But that's when people start looking for extraterrestrials, they always think, okay, is it this planet? And that's not necessarily true per se. It could be true, but you have to look at it as layers. So like if you look at my hand, there's one level, but if you turn it, there's actually 4, 5 different realities existing all simultaneously. And so instead of traveling to a planet, you just need to jump realities. Okay? Some would call it dimensional space. You need to jump dimensional space. I call it reality. Because in their reality, it is reality, just like us. So it's a matter of just jumping up or jumping through, stepping into. When they used to talk about people appearing out of nowhere, all they did is simply step from one reality into another reality.
Right.
They understood the frequency that's involved, and they tuned their frequency to that reality, and it looked like they came through a window or a door that wasn't there, but in truth, it always was there. We just weren't seeing it. So, make sense?
Yes.
And that's
Absolutely.
a lot of what our extraterrestrials, brethren and sisters, do. But the female role, getting back, is huge, always has been. It was stricken from the histories and stricken from the Bible. I'm not saying the Bible is bad. I'm not saying don't read the Bible. I'm not saying don't believe in the Bible. I'm not saying any of that stuff. But understand the origins, okay? It's like Christmas is like a pagan holiday, okay? Jesus wasn't born on the 25th. It's just what the churches agreed to with the pagans. Jesus was actually like what, August, September?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So a lot of our beliefs,
Don't know
quite
that for
honestly, are not accurate. They're just what has been told, and then once a lie is told enough, it becomes a truth. So whatever. Neither here nor there. Doesn't matter. Believe what you want to believe. Read the Bible. It's great. Not a problem. Bhagavad Gita. Great. Not a problem. Take everything with a grain of salt. Listen to your heart. Ask yourself, does this make sense? Does this ring true? Right? Not some religious crap. I don't need some, you're a heathen. Okay, you're a dumbass. Fuck off. I don't need you. And I'm sorry. I'm sick of you. You're a non-reality for me. And I don't care. I'm so sick of that crap too, because you're just a sheep for the lies that are perpetuated. What am I thinking of? Perpetuated out there. And that's all you are. And if you do get offended, quite frankly, you're weak. You're weak-minded, and you're weak in your faith. Because if your faith is strong, guess what? Nothing's going to offend you.
Right. Doesn't bother you.
You just blow it off. So, quite fascinating, right? But that's one thing you'll learn about me. I'm pretty in your face. We're not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not Starbucks. Okay? I'm not fluff. I don't believe in fluff, don't like fluff, never have liked fluff. That's why sometimes it's hard for people to understand the direct, boom, in your face sort of truth. But nonetheless, that's kind of what we need right now. And that's kind of why Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Not that he's speaking truth or not speaking truth, but he's speaking what people want to hear. He's speaking in a pissed off voice that a lot of people are pissed off on. So they go, yes. They don't even know why they say yes. They just, they hear a guy talking corruption and, weeding out the trash and, draining the swamp and like, yeah, we've been getting screwed for so long,
Mm-hmm.
But what really it is, what's really happening here is it's a wave of feminine energy, okay? It's getting back to what we are. So to sort of recap what we talked about, I don't believe in this whole you're here to learn lessons. Throw that out. You're here to become aware of what you already are. And when someone talks about God and says him, shut them off. They're full of shit. They don't know what they're talking about. God is not a him nor a her. It is all that is. Everything and anything, okay? It doesn't need a title. It doesn't need to have feminine or masculine attached to it. It's both, okay? And that's the reality of what it is. Make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you for that.
So that's my rant for the day, January 1st, 2025. Enjoy your life, guys. God, these allergies, huh? But I wish you all great health and wealth and prosperity in the new year and
Happiness.
years to come, and happiness. Enjoy and love yourself who you are. Please like to share, subscribe. If you like this content, like and share it, spread it out there. And, we're going to continue doing our work in 2025. And, hope to see you guys again. So thank you so much. Have a great day.